Hey you guys, I hope you're having a great day and welcome to The Big Show. Jeremy O'Neill and I have put together a great episode for you. It's called The 5 Unexpected Ways for You to Drive ROI in Your Service Department, and a couple of them are going to be a surprise. Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution. We are starting a revolution. No longer is service the forgotten about area of business, but it is now at the forefront because fixed absorption has never been more important. And so what we do is we take service managers that don't understand profitability, that haven't been trained, or the only training they've had is through the person that they worked through before, kind of incestuous, I guess I would call it, handed down ideas and systems that don't work and aren't scalable, and basically get you working 75 hours a week, coming in, grabbing the cat by the tail, getting drug around all day, and then at the end of the day, you don't even know if you won or lost. And we're changing that. We're going to teach you systems that are scalable and that you can have fun and have a quality of life that you deserve, have the best trained advisors, and teach you some magic, because we have some magic, and that's what this is about. So we're starting a revolution, bringing service from the back to the front and making it the most important department, because that's where the customer retention and the profitability really, really is. How's it going, Jerry?
It's going great.
You made a little comment before we went live here that this shirt brings out my eyes.
So I love the shade of blue that shirt brings out in your eyes. Whispering
quite
sweet
a little
nothings
bromance we have going
absolutely.
here.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about the 5 unexpected ways for you to drive ROI in the service department. I think these are unexpected, maybe things that you haven't thought about, or if you have thought about, we're going to kind of hopefully give you a different twist on them and make you kind of see them from a different side of things. Have you done anything fun lately? Going anywhere fun?
Yeah, we're doing some snowboarding with the family. So
Where
even
you
though
gonna
it's
go
100
snowboarding?
degrees down here in LA, it's there's snow in the mountains. There's snow up there in them hills. So
I love how the holidays here, like when I first moved to California and people were putting Christmas tree lights on palm trees, and you could literally swim in your pool on Christmas Day.
yeah, it's our friends in the Midwest are gonna be envious of that. But yeah, absolutely, yes.
You're freezing yourself to death, and we're wearing shorts
Yep,
and tank tops. But hey, it's a choice.
it is absolutely.
And don't move here because there's too many people
There are
here.
way too many people. Stay where you're at. You're better.
You
off
would hate
there.
the traffic.
Oh, traffic's horrible. Absolutely. Yeah, so doing some snowboarding, getting ready for the holidays, taking the kids up. My oldest is 15, middle's 12, daughter's 9, so they're growing up fast, and good quality family time out there. So that's what we do this time of year.
What's fun? Have you got Christmas shopping?
No, I haven't done that yet.
No?
I'm still trying to fill that void in my soul.
The void in your soul?
That's from a previous episode. If
You know, it's interesting, like you make fun of that, but the
Oh wait, hold on. Should I put my feet up for this?
yeah, you should get comfortable. We'll get you a pillow. We can fix all this, Jeremy. Trust me. So you kind of like said that void started when you were 4, and then later you said that that's when your dad and mom split up. Mm-hmm. So there is something to 4. You weren't just making that up.
Well, maybe they split up before that, but maybe there was. I don't know.
When did they split up? How old were you?
I think it was a year old.
A year old when they split up?
Yeah.
I was 2 months when my dad left.
Don't remember much. I actually don't remember them together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My brother does. I don't.
Is your brother older?
He's a year and a half older than me.
Older?
Yeah.
And so at what point did you realize that your parents weren't together? Like, would dad come visit?
Yeah. He was always there. I mean, back then, I don't think they did like court custody things. It was just kind of like
pick up the kids. They're standing on the corner.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
They're gonna walk.
Wait, you
5
don't have
miles
them? You don't have them?
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Things are ran a lot tighter nowadays.
But hey, our guests don't want to hear about my.
Oh, they
soul.
do though.
No,
they do.
Don't. No,
People
they
are
don't.
asking me all the time, what is wrong with Jeremy's soul?
Wow, I had no idea you had that
Everywhere I go,
question.
people are
Wow.
like, you gotta
awesome.
you gotta help Jeremy because he has, he's doing, he's snowboarding. He needs to act his age, people say.
No, I'm only 21. For
What are
those
the
who don't wanna-
chances that you like break something snowboarding?
You don't think about that.
You just break it?
It's just part. I mean, so what are the chances of you slipping on an oil slick in the garage and you break your elbow? Like, I mean, the odds are the same.
Zero. Zero.
For those of you in the real world, it could happen.
Zero.
Why? Because you're fully OSHA compliant and you have not oil-resistant,
I'm not on
slip-resistant
the.
shoes.
I'm not on the shop floor.
It's good. Hey, snowboarding's fun though. I mean, it's a great way to get some fresh air up in the mountains and spend quality time with your children. For me, what I love about it is the time on the chairlift because we get to actually communicate without screens. So those are things that I look for is how do I connect with my children in activities that don't require a screen or technology.
What does your wife say about the void in your soul? What is her opinion on that?
She's still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, so what does she say?
Well, I think the mystery of that is why she stayed married to me for 21 years. So,
Trying to fix you.
yeah.
She's a fixer.
Yeah.
She wanted a big project.
Either that or she's accepted it by now. So
You think? How long have you been married?
21 years.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to correct me on that. I think it's only 20, so I'm in deep trouble if she watches
When's
this.
your anniversary?
I don't know.
Come on. You don't know?
Okay, Google. No.
Siri, when's my anniversary?
Right. It's August 22nd.
Oh, you have a Google phone?
Yeah, I do. I'm one of those. It's August 22nd. I know the day that we got married. I think it was 99. So we could do the math if we need to, but I don't know. It's there.
Funny.
It is. Let's talk about profit.
The 5 unexpected ways to drive ROI in your service department. ROI is return on investment, everybody, in case that one escapes you. You haven't heard
That's
that
an
term before?
important term as well. As service advisors, we talk about, customers are always asking, for discounts or is that the best you can do? And when we're talking sales, I think we don't bring up ROI enough into the investment in their vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So ROI is huge. Like taking care of your car is going to give you a good ROI. And large tickets today are not that hard to sell because car prices are continually going up. This is the second year in a row that the new car payment average in the United States is over $500 a month. At $500 a month, that's a $6,000 repair bill paid off in 12 months. It's not a bad investment in your vehicle. So good ROI, we're going to get you a good return on investment.
Do you know what ROL is?
No, I don't.
No?
What, ROL?
Yeah.
No, what is that?
I think so. When I had, I think it was Brian Benstock, when we had him on the show, he said ROL, return on learning.
Ooh. But that's what we do, right?
Well, he was talking about it in context of they were going and picking up customers' cars, and they were using an app, and so they were running their shop 24 hours a day, and they would go get the cars, and while you were sleeping, they would service your car.
Okay.
And he, in the beginning, when they were testing it out, he's like, a lot of it was ROL. It was return on learning. It wasn't ROI because they weren't making money on it yet because they hadn't executed it. He wanted to be ahead of the curve, And it worked. Now it's working and he's got ROI. But ROL sometimes comes first, return on learning. I think saying, right?
It is. And I think that as we move forward with society and the shift that we're going to see, I think you should budget a certain percentage of your profits for ROL. So you can be ahead of that curve, right?
No, totally. Yeah, that's what he did.
That's awesome.
It's nobody else is thinking that way. So if you're thinking that way, it's going to give you a huge advantage over everybody else.
So we were successful in getting you to Cracker Barrel. I think we'll be successful in getting you either on a mountain bike or a snowboard in the next 12 months. Any takers on that?
I have a mountain bike actually.
You do?
In the warehouse, yeah.
Do you ride it on the actual mountain trail or just paved streets of LA?
You know what? So here's
difference.
the true story is gonna be boring, and I apologize to everybody, but so I had a client in the Bay Area who lived out kind of by what is it called up there? Over the hill from San Francisco.
Marin?
Yeah, out there, but it wasn't Marin. It was like where Santana has his restaurant. What is it called? Something Creek? I don't know. Out there, like there's a mountain out there that everybody likes to mountain bike on. Mm-hmm. So when I would go up to visit this client, he was super into mountain bikes. So he owned a BMW dealership out there. And so I got a mountain bike that he helped me pick out. I got all the stuff, all the gear, and I would take it on the airplane for like $50. You can take an oversized bag. So I had a flight case for it.
Oh my gosh.
You just take off the front wheel, and I would, he tricked it out, suspension, the whole thing. And we would go riding, but the last 2 times I went riding with him, I had ticks on me. And so we'd do a tick check, and I had ticks. And once again, the fun of riding with him, just like you're crazy drifting or jumping out of a perfectly good airplane, the math didn't work for me. Like getting Lyme disease from a tick and the hour or hour and a half that we would mountain bike the math didn't work. I didn't care for mountain biking as much as I didn't want to get Lyme disease.
I would completely agree with you on that, absolutely.
So I have a mountain bike, but I don't ride it. There's no chance you'll get me on a snowboard. I've done that. I didn't like it.
Okay.
I spent the whole time on my butt with little 7-year-old kids going just by, shredding. Like just cutting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm too old for that. I don't need that.
So ticks like water. Luckily in Southern California, we import all of our water, so we don't get a lot of ticks where we ride up there. So maybe we'll get you up to Snow Summit this upcoming summer.
Oh, up there in the Bay Area, there were a lot of them.
A lot of ticks, yes, absolutely.
And then the other thing about mountain biking is I'd break my chain a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and so then you're out there like fixing the chain or you get a flat tire. It's kind of a pain in the ass.
There's probably a reason you were breaking your chain.
I'm kind of bougie with that stuff. Is like I'd want somebody there to fix that for me. Like,
well,
I want to go riding with like a bike mechanic.
You know what they have now? The e-bikes are like all the rage right now, right? So it's like
that's cheating, though.
I totally agree with that. My son and I absolutely cannot stand e-bikes, and we think we should ban them from all trails, everywhere. Like, what's the point? It's almost like a motorcycle, right? So that's you got.
So were you just suggesting that I get one, even though you want them banned?
Yeah. So then I could ban you from something. That would be really cool.
Yeah. No, I think that's funny downtown LA, like people on the scooters and the electric bikes. It's funny. I don't know. Number 1.
Here we go.
5 unexpected ways for you to drive ROI in your service department. The first one is stop chasing gross and start chasing profits. So you have been lied to in our industry that gross is how you get fixed absorption. And I have a video up on chriscollinsinc.com. If you go to chriscollinsinc.com and wait for like 30 seconds, there'll be a pop-up. Opt into that, and I'll send you a video explaining why fixed absorption is a house of cards. But for you to understand it right now is most of the time what happens is you're chasing gross, and to chase gross, you chase traffic. And to chase traffic, you discount. And so you end up making less per hour of labor that you sell. And the secret is to understand how much profit you make for every hour of labor you sell, not to just have gross. And I speak to 20 group meetings and groups all the time, and most of the time, their gross will be up a little bit and their expenses will be up more. Like the last group I spoke to, their gross was up 3% for this year and their expenses were up 15%. So your expenses go up more than your gross goes up. And
Correct.
So stop chasing gross and start chasing profits. And get educated on how you do that and how the effective labor rate matters more than anything else. Learn pricing strategies and, how to do that. But that's the first one.
Well, I think it's important for everybody to understand as well that we live in an age that you can drive whatever you want to your service base. So, for instance, last weekend, I made a comment in one of my classes that I don't do 3 o'clock oil changes. Just my shop's not set up for that, right? So for me to staff to do a 3 p.m. oil change just doesn't work for us. It's not my business model. We're a repair shop. And so what I want is a broken car. I'd rather a customer come in at 3 p.m. with a check engine light on that they want to resolve rather than an oil change. Now, you can yell at me all you want about, well, Jeremy doesn't do oil changes at 3 o'clock. Well, it just doesn't work for me. It might work for your business, but for me to staff that, the numbers just didn't work, right? To have the space and take bay capability out when I can make 10 times the amount of money that during that 1 hour doing a repair versus an oil change. So I think a lot of people don't, whether it's a dealership or independent, I think a lot of times we're just looking at the car count game, right? We need so many cars. Well, what kind of cars do you want? What's the demographic of the car that you want? What years are your sweet spot? What repairs are your sweet spot? For instance, if you work on BMWs, doing the bushings and the suspension on that is probably a really profitable job. Well, how do you identify how to get that job in and duplicate it more, right? So yeah, stop chasing the gross and start chasing profits. Find the profitable jobs, find the profitable cars, and target market those and get those in. Because we have the technology to do it these days, right?
Yeah, now I would say, so you're saying that from the independent shop side of things, because in a dealership, I think if somebody wanted to come in at 3 o'clock for an oil change, we would have the resources, and that's something that we should do. I think it's a little different business model, if that makes sense. I also think it's important for independent shops to know their lane.
Oh, of course, yes, absolutely.
Right? Like if you're a tire shop and it's tires and oil changes, know your lane. If you're a repair shop, know your lane.
Yeah, and I guess I should set the stage. My shop is set up for, we have, 3 technicians and basically 5 bays. So if we're doing repairs and we're doing a transmission in one and we're doing an engine in another and we have our diagnostic work going on, realistically, I'm not going to pull one of my technicians off of a job at 3 o'clock to have him do an oil change. The solution for me to do that, I agree completely. I don't want to turn customers away. But at the same time, yeah, in a dealership, I wrote service all day long. If a car came in, write the ticket. You've got the resources to get it done. So you just got to find the mix and balance of what is your business model and how do you cater to that. Because if I made a promise on a repair that it's going to be done by 5 and I don't have the resources to do that oil change, if I pull my guy off of that job, I'm breaking a promise. So just got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 2 is stop playing the short game. And by playing the short game, what I mean is that you are stepping over, $10 to pick up a dollar, or what do they say? Stepping over a nickel to pick up a penny? What's that old hillbilly saying? You're stepping over a nickel to pick up a penny, or I don't know. But whatever, you're playing the short game in a lot of areas. So one area that this comes into, and I had this conversation in a coaching meeting the other day, is we were talking about selling alignments. And for some reason, this manager got stuck in the vortex of paying technicians to do alignment checks.
Okay.
So then he stopped doing that because he's like, I'm not going to pay technicians to do alignment checks. And I'm like, well, why not? And he goes, because I get tired of paying them. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the math on that, right? Like, how much does it cost you to pay a tech to do an alignment check? So you're paying them 0.3.
Right.
So what, it costs you like $15, $16? Not even that, right?
$9.
It's like $9.
Right.
So you're paying the tech $9 to do an alignment check. Now, if you're only trying to sell it to customers that are 12 months or 12,000 miles, 80% of them are going to be out of alignment. In some areas, it's going to be 100%. But let's say 80% are out of alignment. So you offer 10 customers to do an alignment. 5 of them say yes, and they do the alignment check, and one of them doesn't need it or whatever, right? So you sold 5 alignments basically, or 4 or 5 alignments for $500, $600, depending on what your pricing is. It could be as high as 7, and you paid $6 to do that. Like if you do the math, I would pay for alignment checks all day.
Correct.
As long as you're consistent and you're offering it, would you pay $6 to make, $500-600? Yes, you would.
And to that point too, I think a lot of times we judge our success based off of a shorter window of success. So even
the short game, right?
Right, the short game, absolutely. So, just because you did 5 alignment checks, now you have 5 customers who want the information, right? They want to know, is their suspension in good shape? Is their alignment in good shape? They care about protecting their tires. And if they do have these control arm bushings or things that are starting to wear, guess what might come back within 12 months? Now you could have a $2,000 strut job, control arm job, undercar work that comes back, but because you're so short-sighted on that short game, you're not seeing the actual ROI on it.
So another one, same sort of conversation, right? So competitive market in Massachusetts, in the Boston area, it was a Subaru store, and we were talking about how to get more traffic. And when there was this recall out for something, they were sending cars 3 hours away. They were sending porters to pick up the car because the recall paid like $1,000.
Okay.
Now the average ticket is $1,200 in the shop, but they're no longer picking up cars because the recall's over. And the comment was made, well, I'm not going to go pick up oil changes. I'm like, but your average ticket's $1,200.
Right.
Like, so you pick up the car a couple times, but if your average ticket is $1,200,
right,
you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you're winning more than you're losing.
Right.
And so we just get caught up in this weird thing where we're managing expenses so tight that we don't see the trees for the forest, and we're not really doing the math. So, you know, part of not playing the short game is actually, why don't you do the math on some of these things before you decide you won't do them? Because I know in a lot of different departments, I'll go pick up cars 3 hours away. I'll have a whole team of porters that pick up cars. We have a dealership here in Coaching in downtown LA that picks up most of their cars from Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and downtown, just because they're not in a desirable area. And other ones that just want, you know, in Chicago, you just want market share. And so you'll go, you know, from parts of Chicago to Indiana to pick up a car, but the average is there and we're winning. You know, like, for example, in a Land Rover store, we have 5 hours a ticket. We want the traffic, right? And so
absolutely.
a lot of times we're chasing discounts. And really, if you just had a team of porters and you went and picked up the cars and made it super easy for customers, you would end up winning in the end. Now, you got to be consistent with the inspections and offering maintenance when they need it and all that to get that average up. But, you know, Brian Benstock has proved, and if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it, but he's proven, and since then his numbers have gotten better since we did that episode. He's proven that going on the attack and playing offense is way better than playing defense. And so do the math.
Absolutely. Playing defensively. I have that down here in our notes. That's a great thought. Peter Drucker, one of the world's brightest management minds, says that the principal purpose of business is to create a customer. And that's more long-term thinking, not necessarily to create a profit at that time, but to create a customer. And I think that's what Apple's done really well, is they've identified their client base and they create customers that want their product. And, you know, they just came out with the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. So Apple knows how to cater to their client base and deliver profits for the company, but I think they have a long-term view on it. So I think that's
I think it's interesting. Like, I've seen a Tim Cook interview where he's like, we don't care if people upgrade. We just want them to stay in the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. They just want you in the App Store.
Right. Absolutely.
That's where they want you because they're profits. Mm-hmm. They're a services company now.
Right.
And that's how they see themselves. So that's where they want you. Now, another example of playing the short game is in hiring advisors. So a lot of times, I would say 80% of the time, we go to coach somebody or fix the service department, you got to add advisors. If you don't have one more advisor than you think you need, and you can't write a pay plan for advisors that makes it work and is the right percentage of gross, and you don't understand that, then you're never going to get the additional people that are trying to come in. You're never going to get those walk-ins, the phone calls. If you don't have one more advisor than you think you need, you're not going to exceed customers' expectations. If you think that advisors can write 20 ROs a day and they're gonna give more to the customers and spend more time and pet the dog and connect, you're playing the short game. You're crazy. It isn't gonna happen. You know, you want advisors writing closer to 10 so they can take walk-ins and they'll answer the phone and they have time to call people and sell work and that sort of thing. And so, they just they get this mindset where, oh, we can't add another advisor, but advisors should be a cost of sale if you do the pay plan right. They're paying for themselves.
Yeah, I think, I'm sitting here as an advisor. I'm going, wait a second, you're going to add another person? That's going to take away from my opportunity. But I've been that advisor that wrote 30 cars a day, and you're juggling all the balls. And realistically,
you're going to sell. You're going to have better quality of life. You're going to sell more per customer, and once if you're hooked on the heroin of the RO count, and you think you got to write 20, 25 a day, you're missing a lot of opportunities slipping through your fingers.
Absolutely. I think with the race to the bottom in most industries with pricing, especially for dealerships, there really isn't competition in the service department. I mean, dealerships are the authority. They've got the factory trained technicians. They've got all that. So if you deliver a better product and a better service experience, your pricing becomes irrelevant. Look what Disney does, right? So one of the captions I put in some of our workbooks is, learn to deliver such an amazing service experience that your pricing becomes irrelevant. And Disney raises their prices every single year.
Baby, what do you pay for your annual pass at Disney? What is this scam?
Right? Yeah.
And then what was the down, like the general? Yeah, so they get you monthly.
Yes.
So it's $200 a month. So that's what, $1,400 a year.
It goes up every.
When we took the elite group there, in your sister's mother-in-law, who was a vice president there, walked us through. And one of the things that we learned that is everybody in Southern California that has that pass they couldn't handle it.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know, it's something like 1 million people have it or something, and they can only take 200,000 a day or something. It's crazy.
And they know their numbers.
Yeah.
And they adjust them like crazy.
And those numbers are wrong, but the numbers are crazy, right?
They are.
And so...
So to your point with that, adding that extra advisor could be raising the service experience that you deliver to your customers, but you can also then charge premium pricing for it as well.
Yeah, so they know that, just like I was saying an episode ago, like I need to raise my price for speaking because I'm getting too many speaking gigs. So Disney knows that there's a lot of room there to move the price because they're still selling more than their capacity.
Absolutely.
They're still oversold on it.
Right.
So you can keep raising the price, right? So there's way more elasticity when you understand a pricing strategy, how to create a customer experience, and the psychology of getting customers to spend more money. It's pretty easy to understand. So I think that's one that I see, and I don't know if you see it a lot. Is just people play the short game. They don't do the math. They don't really have a system, and they're running so tight that they're missing so much opportunity.
Right.
They're not executing, and they're running so tight that they start failing in other areas too because they have no resources.
Yeah, and then when you start to play defensively, you take your eyes and your focus off of where you want to go, and then you inevitably will attract that defensive thing that you're trying to avoid, which is a pullback in sales or a pullback in profit. So we always have to be focused on where we want to go and play offensively, make it happen. Number
3 kind of comes in 2 parts, and I'd kind of be curious your thought on this. But the first part is you want to start remembering that customers want to buy an experience. They want experience more than they want anything, right? And so the car doctor service clinic that we do is an experience. So having the customers come in the shop, meet the technicians put the cars in the air and they inspect them, is an amazing way to get customers in that are, let's say you take your customer list and it's all on Honey Chop the list, right? So let's say you say that the customers haven't been in 6 months and they're out of warranty if it's a dealership. If it's an independent, not out of warranty because they usually probably are anyways. And so they haven't been in 6 months, they're out of warranty, and you send all those customers an invitation to an event with a handwritten letter, door prizes, all the stuff we teach you in the car doctor course to do, and get the customers in, have them meet the technician, put the car in the air, and do a visual inspection with them there. Most of the time, I think our record for one of those is we did 120,000 in sales that day. It's crazy. And then whenever we do them, about 120 will come back. Whatever you do that day, double will come back in the next couple months.
Wow.
And so that's a great way to drive ROI, is to create an experience, right? And those clinics end up being an excuse for you to have other vendors there to give away free details or free, car wax or, rental car coupons, whatever it is, wine tasting. Nothing better than drinking some wine and looking at the bottom of your car.
Absolutely.
But whatever it is, there's a lot of businesses in your community that want access to your database that will give away door prizes or things to put in your gift bag to wow the customers. And in the psychology of how we do it is they're getting a gift bag when they come in. So there's that, there's that exchange of we gave you something. And
well, it's interesting when you look at the psychology of the sale behind this. Why are the numbers so high? And then I ask, how do we create this on a daily basis, right? So if the car doctor service clinic works really well, and it generates that revenue, what you've done is you've put the customer in a position of wanting to buy what we're offering rather than feeling like they're being sold.
Yeah,
Right?
because it's total trust.
Absolutely.
Because it's like they're diagnosing it with the tech.
And the advisors can do that on a daily basis with every customer by creating that higher service experience and then really building trust and listening to the customer and delivering something that they want. So yeah, the Car Doctor Service Clinic.
What do you think about that one as far as an independent? They could do it, right?
They can do it, absolutely.
Yeah, it's have an experience, get a taco truck out there.
Yep. And there's, like you said, there's so many different ways you can connect with the grassroots of your community through other service providers or other businesses as well. Some of our shops do a teen driving clinic as well to teach the kids about their car.
Sounds dangerous.
I agree. That's why I carry helmets with me all the time. But I mean, think about that. How many cars are coming in that teenagers are driving that are under-maintained and under-serviced, and the opportunities that are there, especially for parents to want to help take care of their kids as well, make sure they're driving safe vehicles. So yeah, these clinics can work out great, and you have a client base that you're giving a ton of value to that wants to take care of their car. So you're definitely going to see the money ROI come back in.
Yeah, and just one last thing with that is if you do that, try to be aware of fabricating scenarios where customers can take pictures that are shareable online.
Yes.
So get like baby lions there, baby penguins, or something that they want to take a picture with that they can share, because they become shareable. You can actually, in those situations, have a photographer there taking the pictures, watermarking them with your logo, and then sending them to them also. But those sort of things, like, it was interesting to me when I was in Miami that the guy who owns the design district there has created this scenario, because like here in California we have these outside malls.
Right.
He's created this outside mall that has tons of things that you want to take selfies in front of. Like, he's got these stuffed pink bears everywhere, pink hammocks,
right?
Just different scenes and art that you'd want to share with the world. And he gets it. Like, it's all, people want to go there to take pictures with the famous graffiti or the famous art, or the different kind of scenes that they've built.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating.
It becomes iconic at that point.
Yeah, he's way ahead of where malls are suffering and saying they don't have traffic. Meanwhile, he's not waiting for it to come to him. He's creating a scenario where people go there to share the pictures, and then people see it and then they want to go there, and it's just fascinating what he's doing there. And I think a lot of businesses are struggling because they don't understand that when you have an event or an experience like that, you want to create scenarios where people are going to share it on social media and not just a picture of them with their car.
Absolutely. Yes, that makes sense.
It's not about the car. It's not about the commodity.
It is not about the commodity. It's about the relationship.
The other one, and this doesn't apply to independents, so maybe there's a twist on this, but salespeople in the service drive. Like, the best dealerships that sell the most cars have salespeople in the drive. They're looking at the appointments the day before. They're introducing themselves to the customer. They're offering to get an appraisal on their car. If the customer bought the car there, they've pulled up where they're at in the car and what their payment is. And a lot of times they can pull them forward or get them into something else for close to the same payment. And there's different tools out there that you can use to do that. But, the service drive has a ton of traffic. And so if you're riding 20 in your service drive, if you're riding 100, if you're riding 200 customers every day, if you're riding 100 cars every day, you should be able to sell 5 cars a day out of the service drive. Meanwhile, you're sitting in the showroom saying we don't have any traffic, and you're spending all this money on advertising, and they're coming in your service department, already.
What I've never understood, because being a dealership service advisor, when you connect and you have these relationships with your customers and it's time for them to get into a new vehicle, is a VIP client for that dealership. And why wouldn't you have a program to incentivize that customer to buy from you? And I remember one of the first dealerships I'd worked at, I stopped sending my customers over to sales because the customer would come back all pissed off. And because they were trying to, just rake them over the coals and sell them the biggest deal they possibly could. And right, wrong, or indifferent, I think if the customers are loyal to your dealership, create a program for them where the advisor can actually kind of get the deal kind of started if you're not going to put salespeople in the service drive. But that customer should be treated like a VIP and be treated right.
Yeah.
My biggest thing on that. I never understood why the customers would come back upset. Like, hey, they're our customer. Let's take care of them, right?
You know what? So when I was an advisor, I was kind of turning a lot of cars over to sales. The same thing, I would lose the deal.
Right.
So they wouldn't buy a car, and they would tow their car out and go somewhere else and
It's a double
buy a
whammy
car.
right
Yeah, because
there.
our sales department sucks so bad. So the GSM made a deal with me. He's kind of the GSM / general manager. Made a deal with me that I could sell cars. So I started selling cars from the drive and on the weekends. But the problem was I don't know. It was like the 2 weeks in, and I was leading the board.
You're like the
And so they said you can't sell cars anymore. Yeah.
But there's something
but
there,
there's a
right?
lesson there that
There is
you
a
can
lesson
sell
there.
a lot. Like service advisors, if they pet the dog and they have trust, my customers wouldn't do anything without my input.
Right.
Should I buy that new whatever? And are you seeing problems with it? Like I just had that kind of rapport with my customers, so I definitely could direct them.
Yeah, and I think for the independent shop owners, I think the metaphor of having a salesperson at your service counter, I think is interesting. Because think about this, for my shop, if you brought me your vehicle and then it's time for you to get another vehicle, I might lose you as a customer for a certain period of time. If you buy a new vehicle, maybe you go to the dealership for service. But what I want to do is enroll myself in the process of you finding your next ride. What are you going to do with this vehicle? Because there could be an income opportunity for the shop with the disposal of the vehicle. Are you going to trade it in? Are you going to sell it to a private party? Or are you going to give it to a family member? So that's realistically the life cycle of an independent repair shop is we have to enroll ourselves in helping that customer protect the car, keep it going, and then look at the resale value on it when it's time for that car to find a new home. What are you going to do? And for the independent repair shop owner, it's important that your business is set up that your relationship doesn't end at that moment when they get the next vehicle, that we have a relationship beyond that. So that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. No, you can sell a ton of cars if you're on that. And then the last one, and this is kind of extra credit, is invest in your people. Like, I don't know how many advisors DM me and they're like, I need training, but my boss won't buy it. He's so cheap. Like, I can't imagine that for, I don't know what it is. Is it $8 a day for our online training? For $8 a day, you can't train your techs, yourself, your advisors, and all of the people that interact with customers on customer service. It's crazy. Like, first of all, train yourself. Like, you wouldn't invest $8 a day in yourself.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, we really want to start a revolution, and we want to help. And so we've priced things so you can afford them. Mm-hmm. The value is huge, and maybe we don't do a good enough job portraying what the value is, but $8 a day not to train your advisors. I don't care who you are. You can figure out. Cut back on floor mats.
Well, but the advisors too, invest in yourself. You're right. I remember when I was 19, I went to a class and I went to the back and I said, I want to buy this. And the guy said, I'm not going to sell it to you. I said, why? Well, your dad already has it. I said, this isn't for my dad. This is for me. I'm building my own library, right? Because I took an interest in my own career. And I would encourage you too, if you're an advisor, brew your own coffee. Don't go to Starbucks every day. Invest your money instead of in Starbucks, growing their profits, grow your own profits and invest in yourself. It's so worth it. If you're an advisor, being a service advisor isn't the end of the road for you. Maybe you have career aspirations to own your own facility, own your own business, go into service management. There's so many opportunities in this business, right? That the more you invest in yourself, the more you're going to get back out of it. So invest early and invest often.
What's funny is, and this is one thing that I really respect about you, because we're very similar in this, is like we both give away really good stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I always have felt like if I give away better stuff than my competition sells,
right,
like I'll always have clients and I'll be in business. Like it's that old saying, like my grandpa always told me, like if you give people more than they pay for, then you'll always have clients and you'll always be in business. And some of your stuff online is the same way. It's so good. But it's funny, like advisors will say, you know, we're watching all your free stuff, and it's great and it's helped us, and like I did this and I learned that and whatever, and I really want the training. And I don't know how should we price our training so individual advisors can buy it? Maybe we should, because I get a lot of those DMs. It's funny.
Yeah.
But come on, invest in your people. Return on learning.
They did it for a year. I mean, if they did the training for a year and their skills were that much better and they captured their customers, they'd have the start of their trust fund.
Oh, it's huge.
Right?
The ROI on, you know, it's easy. We were doing the math. It's easy even in our coaching. The clients that have a coach come out every month, their ROI is bigger than somebody who has a coach come out once a year.
Right.
It's just, you know, if you want to get serious about performance, you're going to have a coach. If I want to get serious about, you know, weightlifting or boxing or whatever it is, I have a coach. And so, you know, you need a coach.
It's funny to me, but Pete Carroll's on the sidelines of every game at the Seahawks, right? He doesn't just coach one game and let the team do the rest.
No, of course not. And Pete Carroll has tons of speakers come in too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Constantly to keep it fresh. So that's the top 5 unexpected ways for you to drive ROI in your service department. I hope that sparked some ideas and gave you something that you can go implement. Like I said, I think we give away better content for free than most people charge for. So imagine what's behind the membership wall, right?
What's behind the wall. Right. Absolutely.
So, thank you so much. That's it for me and for Jeremy. We hope that you have a great week. And
we'll see Chris on a mountain bike real soon. I'll get a GoPro video of that. No?
See you real soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.